In the heart of London, 17 contestants are gathered from all corners of the UK, gearing up for the ultimate showdown.
The aim is to support children with their mental health.
£10,000 is up for grabs to turn their game-changing ideas into reality.
Dr. Nazar, you are so nice.
Meet the power trio of panelists, Dr. Ali Al-Hilli, an Islamic speaker and director at Dar al-Islam, and author with outstanding Islamic knowledge.
There is a gap in the market to help our brothers and sisters who are reverts.
Dr. Nazar Merali, a renowned doctor, a speaker at the Salam Center, and an esteemed advocate for health.
I'm interested in coming into it, not to earn money for myself. I'll probably buy shares on behalf of the Salam Center.
And Dr. Shabir Tijani, a prominent Noha reciter, a GP doctor, and a successful businessman.
So what sort of revenue streams do you have for this so that you can keep going and keep developing this idea?
As they analyze and decide who has the community's most fitting idea. It's not just a competition. It's a journey through tough stages where dreams meet reality, an endeavor to captivate and impress the Imam of our time.
Whoever makes it through is still serving the Ahlul Bayt.
I think with this one, we've got to say, let's see.
But who will rise to claim the title of the Infallible Servant winner? Previously on the Infallible Servant.
The exhibition team, the overall cost of price of the team. So this is the roles of the behind the scenes of how they would help and how to make everything work. So
You could ask the centres to subsidise some of it as well. So something like this, if they see benefit of it for their youths, they may subsidise some of the cost as well.
Expanding on my talk from last time, the mission statement for the podcast idea I have is that we familiarise children with teachings of the Ahlul Bayt through learning and fun. The unique selling point is it's a very original idea.
So how do you protect your idea? What have you got within your product which makes it different from anyone else's out there? Is it the stories themselves? Is it, what is it?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Altaf, you're back.
I'm back.
Yeah, great to have you back. As you know, we put you through as the wild card.
Now, I'd like to highlight some information that should have been mentioned last week. The application will be home to the Quran.
So the youth will say, well, this is halal, right? So I'm going to go and listen to whatever is in this halal app.
Ayatullahs have different sort of guidance on how it should be, which will also be in the terms and conditions.
In the last round, we discussed making this idea and tailoring it towards Muslims a little bit more. And I have considered that idea. However, it's not something that I can commit to at current.
I concur with you. Indirectly, Muslims will benefit. But what is so special about yours? Others will sort of come into the market, swarm the market and take over from you, who might have much more muscle behind them. What do you think about that?
You asked me about our competition in the Islamic sphere. We know that there are lots of companies out there producing educational toys, educational resources and developmental tools.
From the Asma and Me product that you gave us last week, I went to back in that box and I saw very, very similar products to yours.
So the winner and the person going through to the final of the Infallible Servant is Sister Suhaila Merali.
The second half of the semi-finals is finally here. Our first contestant today has come back even stronger with more smiles for all. Sayyid Mahdi Razavi and his AI storyteller are back on the stage.
So inshallah, if I pass this round and get to the final, I'll make sure to do my best and perform in the final as well. And hopefully I can pass in the final as well.
Last round was a very exhausting round, a lot of tough questions, and I can't help but feel that this round is going to be even tougher. How do you feel?
I'm very much looking forward to it.
You're looking forward to this? Really? I mean, have you prepared everything for the questions that you're given?
To the extent I could, yes. Yeah.
That's a very good answer. Ladies and gentlemen, he's the coolest contestant we've had so far. I mean, Is there anything that you're worried about? Are you going to win 100%?
Inshallah, I'll do my best. You'll see. The outcome is out of my hand, right?
Well, listen, I wish you the best of luck. I can't wait to see you go through. And yeah, all the best.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. How are you, Sayyid Mahdi?
Alhamdulillah, thank you so
You
much.
always have a very nice smiley face.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
MashaAllah. Okay, so we were quite pleased with your product last time.
Thank you so much.
We've done a bit of homework, research, so we look forward to your 2 minutes presentation, and inshallah we can have some questions.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome back to the world of Illuminati Tales. Now I want you to imagine this. You're back home after a busy day, and you open the door, and suddenly Legos all over the place. It's like a tiny sea of traps waiting for your feet. What do you do? An angry face, an angry word to the kids, that only teaches fear. If you start giving them a lecture, I don't think that would be effective. If you give them a story, that's likely to be effective and memorable. So that's what I did with my oldest son. He's 7-year-old, he's highly creative, he's in love with Legos. So his name is Ali, and I created a story for him called Ali's Tidy Town. So in this story, he's not just playing with the Legos. The story is inspired by the words of Imam Ali alayhi salam about the importance of organization and order. And in this story, he transforms his messy room in a toy landscape into a very orderly, tidy town. So this story, now imagine this at a scale. His personal touch at a scale. So a parent goes to the website or to the app, and they start describing in their own words what they are looking for. And we either match them with one of the stories that already exist in the library, or they choose to contribute by funding the creation of a new story so themselves and other parents can use it. And then everything is available. So this is the story library as you saw. This is the story I created for my own son Ali, in which he's the hero of the story. The story comes in different forms, including text, mobile, as a podcast, audio, video, etc. And there are activities at the end of the story that the parents can choose to make it more effective. So there's activity for growth and discussion points. We can watch the story at the end if you want it, so to get the full idea. Now, I believe with the example I gave, it's now clear the USPs and how this platform is different from traditional storytelling, as well as the channels that provide animations about Islamic topics. So we provide unlimited on-demand stories that are personalized, and they come in different formats. In terms of the roadmap and timelines and how we plan to use the 10K, first on the marketing and distribution, we plan to do targeted outreach on social media, community partnerships, a little bit of influencer collaborations, and to some extent paid marketing campaigns. We continue to expand the library, at least 2 stories each week, and our goal is to get to more than 1,000 recurring users to the platform. Once we get there, we'll be able to bring more revenue, donations, and other funds. So we'll use the funding to create an app at that point, which would be able to provide instant story creation and personalized learning journeys for the kids, as well as the stories will be free with some premium features. Right, these are a few testimonials from the current parents and kids using the platform, and that's my presentation.
All right, Sayyid Mahdi, thank you so much for that presentation. Dr. Nazar,
Yeah, let me understand the revenue.
Right.
So in the first year, personalized story,
Right.
how much does the client pay?
So the cost for me, including...
No, not the cost for you. How much does the customer pay?
The client pay for the personalized
Personalized
stories.
story, yeah.
So if they only want to get the text plus images,
Yeah.
that's around £7, right?
More
Now,
comprehensive?
if they want to get the animated story,
Yeah.
that's currently £20.
£20, did you say?
£20.
How many such stories do you anticipate being requested per week or per month in the first year?
At least 2 stories a week.
2 stories a week?
Yeah.
So 100 stories a year?
That's more than 100 stories a year.
About 100 stories a year.
About
you're right.
100 stories a year.
I'm actually going to go back to your product and talk about that. Now, there's a few things I wanted to ask you, and a few things I have concerns over, and a few things I didn't like. Okay, I looked into your YouTube channel quite extensively, and you do have competition out there. I think the first thing was the whole animation thing. Is there anything stopping you from creating animations through AI?
So currently, it is not as very well evolved, the animations that are out there. I'm looking at that, closely.
Is that something you can do though?
Yeah, I can do that. So, but I think the time is not now. It would be maybe in 6 months, in a year.
Because I think that
they need to be more
add
evolved.
value to your stories. I think the actual animation, I like what you've done, but as you said, it's just pictures that have a bit of panning and some movement, and then it moves on to the next picture. But if you have animation, it'll add extra value.
Dr. Tijani seemed to be harboring some concerns about the figures.
It depends where I'm competing. So if this is on YouTube, YouTube Kids, let's say, and in competition with other animations, that's not the place I want to be.
Okay,
so,
fine.
Because whatever I do, at least with the current technology and the scalability, the other competition is going to win.
Okay, fine.
You know what I will really love? I will really love for you to produce a few hundred videos of that kind about the stories of short stories and lessons from the prophets and the imams. And it will stick in our children's head, because at the moment, if I come like what you did with Malik al-Ashtar.
The story of Malik al-Ashtar.
Yes, the story of Malik al-Ashtar. I think that was brilliant. I love the story of Malik al-Ashtar. And if you say, in this particular product, I want to produce, take all the ahadith and take the stories that have come out of it and say, the imam was this, he did this, and then a moral came out of that story. And I sit down with my children and I say, look, watch this is really important. It will stick in their head and change them. Because of that, I'm willing to invest in that.
That's an amazing idea. It's part of the plan, and inshallah.
They had watched different stories, and the story of Malik Ashtar was favored for one of the judges. The other judges, they preferred some of the more personalized stories.
We mustn't forget that it is the product. The key product is your innovative ways of sending the message based on your own experience, on your own child, to the children of the world, on the morals, and bringing all the issues relating to tidiness or whatever. And you're doing it in a unique way. What you are trying to also do in parallel is to keep the cost minimum. You want to use AI, and you don't want to use voiceover, and you want to do this. You want to keep the cost minimum. I think this is where you're erring, I think. This is such a brilliant thing. I think you need to spend more money here. I know that would need more investment. You could attract investors. I will be one of the investors.
I'll be one of the investors as well. I have to say, one thing I would say is, at the beginning of your pitch, if you would have talked to me about your competitors on YouTube, do you know how often they upload videos out of interest? Give me a rough idea, because I go through all these YouTube channels. How often do you think they upload these videos?
Maybe once a month or something.
Once a month. And how often are you going to upload these videos?
I'm uploading at least one every week.
Okay, so if you can go to 2 a week, you'll have a brand following, you'll have lots and lots of people watching your videos. And when you get to a big scale, 100 videos, we'll just put our children in front of the TV. Instead of watching cartoons on Netflix, they'll be sat in front of the TV watching your videos on YouTube, just on repeat. So that's what I would do. So I would love to invest in this idea
Inshallah.
as well.
Ahsan Sayyid Mahdi, may Allah bless you, and we'll have a discussion to see if you have made it to the final.
Thank you so much.
Brother, that was a fiery round. How do you think that went?
Alhamdulillah, I think that went very well.
I mean, initially there was quite a lot of questions coming from the panelist side, but towards the end there was a turn. I mean, all of a sudden there was some astonishing turn of events. Tell us about it.
So I think the problem or the gap I was trying to address wasn't quite clear at the beginning, and throughout the presentation and with the Q&A, tried to make that clear. So this is the problem and the gap, and this is how we're trying to fix that.
Once again, Sayyid Mahdi delivers a compelling pitch, impressing the panelists with his consistent professionalism. Could this earn him extra recognition from the panelists?
He's a very smart guy.
He's a smart guy, yeah.
Very
yeah.
smart.
I think if he uses this to generate stories of the Imams of the Prophet, some like 3 minutes.
I like your idea. Even if it's less than 3 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes.
2 minutes, yeah.
What's the attention span of a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old? It's not long.
ચાલો જોઈએ શું થાય છે.
Acha.
She is confident and is passionate about helping others find confidence in themselves. Zainab Saboor is back again. Last round proved that Zainab's idea is most definitely needed within the community. But will it be the ultimate need for the community against the other ideas?
I do hope I make it to the next round because I think, well, for one, I missed my really good friend's wedding today, so hopefully it's all worth it. But I don't know if I will make it to the next round. I do have faith in the idea. I think it's an amazing idea, and if the judges see the potential, then hopefully I will.
Round one was nerve-wracking. Are you ready for this round?
I think I'm ready, hopefully, and then I've done my best. I'll leave the rest up, as always.
I mean, you look very relaxed. Are you not nervous at all?
We had a very long drive from Birmingham, so I just slept in the car. That's probably why.
I mean, that's one way to, ladies and gentlemen, that's one way to, calm your nerves. That's a very good tip.
Take notes.
All right, I wish you the best of luck. Inshallah, we'll see you after this.
Thank you, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, Zainab. Thank you so much for coming along again.
Thanks for having me back again.
It's a delight to see you again, and let's hope that this is a more successful round for you. Let's start straight away without wasting time with your 2 minutes presentation, and I'm sure then there will be questions from the panel. Over to you.
All right, so in today's presentation, I'm going to be taking everyone on the strategic outlook for leading voices. Before I do that, I'm going to give you a brief overview or recap on what we do at Leading Voices or what we try and achieve. So it's basically a debating platform that combines the Ahlul Bayt and Quran in the teaching resources. It's going to take place over Zoom, around £10 per class, and catered towards children between the ages of 6 to 18. So I'm going to start with market research. So I asked a question to more than 40 people from over 5 countries and 2 different Islamic sects regarding whether they'd actually pay for these services and if this is something that they'd actually enroll their kids onto. And these are the results. 85% of people said that they would. 7.5% of people said no because it's slightly expensive for them, or that they're not interested over Zoom, and 7.5% said maybe, depending on if their kids enjoyed the classes and if they knew who the teachers were. So moving on to the marketing strategy, I mentioned a little bit last week, but I've added a lot more this week. So in addition to community centers, would be using Saphir TV as the broadcasting platform to raise awareness, strategic alliances with different Islamic schools and madrasas across the globe, partnerships with different Islamic charities, social media to leverage our brand, and then referral programs where we actually pay our current participants for bringing in their friends to the program. Moving on to the distribution strategy, I've actually broken this down into 4 different stages. So in the beginning, with the pilot launch, we're actually going to start with London and Birmingham because it's more familiar, it's easier to break into, and I have network into those cities. Once that is profitable to the company, we'll then move over to the rest of the UK, North America, and then the rest of the world. We're thinking of a 6-month gap between each. In terms of immediate expansion, once I get the £10,000, we're gonna actually start with technology expansion. So immediately I'll start investing the money to build my technology, whether it's the websites, getting the softwares like Zoom and other platforms for the teaching programs. And then I'll use the resources that I have, the scholars, to develop the content. I'll then move on to the marketing strategy to deploy that I've just discussed earlier, community engagement, getting feedback, then expanding to different cities, countries, and then diversification. Now, in terms of diversification, I think it'd be nice to bring you to my last slide, which is the growth potential. Now, I know you guys wanted to know about this, so this is exactly what I'm bringing to you. We are just the drop in the ocean right now. We haven't even explored the extensive Quran and Ahlul Bayt series we can have. The phrase Bismillah, or the word Bismillah itself can have a whole series on it, or a whole month course on it, let alone the whole Quran and every resource we have about the Ahlul Bayt. We haven't even touched on Islamic literature that our scholars across the globe, our ayatollahs, all the sheikhs that we've had from all those years, we haven't even touched on those. And then we haven't even touched on the adults that would actually be very interested. I'm actually holding a course on this next week. So the potential for growth is exponential, as you can see. Thank you so much for listening. I welcome all your questions.
So that's very clear. I can see that you've taken the feedback on board.
Yeah.
Do you mind going back to your third slide, those stages 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
Of course.
Just go, roughly tell me how much would your £10,000 be spent for each one of those numbers there?
So I had a feeling that you would ask me those questions. I've made a slide after the thank you slide just as a backup. So I'll just go to that because it'll be easier. So the £10,000 investment allocation would look a little bit like this. Now this is approximate because, as you're aware, the idea is just an idea and it's not a product as of yet.
Sister Zainab, remind us about the revenue stream again. How would you generate money?
So it's very simple. It is not something, we don't have stock or anything. The classes that will be delivered, so each student that signs up to the program has to pay a fee. So it's £10 per class at the moment. I will do extensive market research on it if I need to reduce that amount.
Okay, so it seems like you know, in terms of revenue stream, you know, there isn't much overhead.
No.
So you seem like
apart from the initial,
you'll make some. But I'll leave that to Shabir to interrogate more. But I had an observation last time, if you remember.
Yeah.
Do you remember what it was?
About the Zoom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Which is why I put it in the questionnaire.
So I still have that concern because I don't think you've addressed it in your. I am a bit disappointed because I would have loved for you to address that in your presentation. You just said, yes, you know, there was a concern from the judges that this was the case. But again, I will say, many of the youth do not interact much in Zoom. They switch off. They need some sort of an interaction.
Yeah.
How are you going to deal with that?
Dr. Hilli voiced his concerns about the online courses yet again. Will Zainab have an all-awaited response?
Right. So I actually had a comment that I got from one of the questionnaires. So I'm not going to mention the name because we kept it anonymous.
Sure.
But I did, in terms of your feedback, I tried to input everyone's feedback into the presentation. So really sorry if you felt like I didn't put the Zoom bit in. But in the questionnaire, I actually asked them that if you would be willing to pay £10 for the Quran, the debate, but it would only be on Zoom. And would that be okay with you? And the people, honestly speaking, from the no bit, they did say, some of them said no because their kids are too busy, or no because it's a bit too expensive for them. But a few people said it's because it's a bit too expensive or it's on Zoom. And it's a bit too expensive for it to be on Zoom, right? Because they're like, it's online, why are you charging that much money? And then I was looking at the comments that I got from the yes section. And obviously the yes is the majority, the no is the minority, maybe as well. But one of the people actually wrote me a whole explanation as to why they'd actually go ahead with it, especially the Zoom bit that I asked about. And they said that they love that it doesn't hold barriers in terms of communities, because they would love their kids to actually interact with kids from different communities, because that's something that as parents they were not able to give their kids.
Yeah, I mean, let's bear in mind that you know your sample size is quite low.
Absolutely.
40. So let's not focus too much on the survey results.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not. It's not about what people are comfortable with or not. I think in terms of debating and speaking as a speaker, to learn these particular skills, I think most definitely needs to be face to face.
So what's your financial forecast for year one?
So for year one, it's around £46,000
turnover.
Yeah.
What about the cost of the teachers?
So the cost of the teachers is already taken into account. So that's £15 an hour. Okay. So if we have 8 students signing up, that's around £65 in profit. And if we have, let's say, a 3-month course that they sign up to, that's approximately, just with one group of students, £780. And if we multiply that by 4, because there's 12 months and you're hoping that they'd be repeating customers, then it comes down to around 3,000, just a little bit over £3,000. So that's just with one class.
Okay. So how many classes are you going to hold?
So for the first year, we're expecting at least 10 to 15 at minimum, which would get us a little over £46,000.
Net profit?
For the first year?
Yeah.
So yeah, around £50,000.
Okay, 50,000 year 2?
We're actually thinking double because we're going to not just stick to London and Birmingham and actually expand. So we're thinking at least 100,000.
So if you're doing on Zoom, why are you limiting to Birmingham and London when you've got a global audience?
So I wanted to mention that in the presentation, but I was conscious of time. So we're not going to limit so if let's say someone from Coventry wants to come in, or someone from Leicester wants to come in, I'm not going to say no because you're not part of London and Birmingham, but I meant in terms of our focus for marketing needs to be specialized into that area, so we're not like running out everywhere and like putting our eggs in every basket, but we just have a niche focus in terms of where we're spending our time and focus. But the word of mouth will spread, and I'm sure people from all across the world will join.
If it's successful, of course it will. So if you take your salary into account, say argument's sake, how much you expecting to take from the business?
I think at least 20 grand.
20 grand? Okay, so we reduce that net profit down by 20k. Still pretty good, still pretty healthy. Just one last question. Have you invested any of your own money into this?
Into this? Not at the moment, because it's not a thing at the moment. Yeah.
Fine. Okay.
But
My last question is, have you begun to think about forming a team?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
This is not a one-person job, and I've realized that because I've run it before and I've hired people for it. So definitely, I'd be looking for managers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sister, that was a very exhausting round. I mean, I was back here and I was listening to all the questions Dr. Tijani was asking, all your financial details. Literally got in there and tried to get under your nerves. Were you shaken by that at all?
Actually wasn't, and I think it kind of goes because I'm like a standing exhibit of like what I was trying to tell people about what skills you can learn from the company, and I was like, if I'm not going to be a role model about like not getting anxious, then who will? So yeah, I think I was fine.
Great advice given to Zainab by the panelist, a noble and important idea that the community can definitely use. Will Zainab see an advance to her project faster than she expected?
Okay, guys, so what did you think?
I'm not a fan of Zoom. I would have loved for her to come and say, I'm going to go and establish this organization. I'm going to go and tap on every center and I say, I want to organize debating classes and speaking classes, and this is what I will do. I would have said, yes, you've sold them.
You're right. That model can work very well and probably much more effective, but it's not scalable. She will not be able to generate the income that she's anticipating.
Absolutely.
Unless she trains another 10 people like her.
Yeah. Let's see.
خلينا نشوف.
Sabreen Zainab Hussain has shown the panelists that there is much help needed for the divorcees within the community. And with her passing to the next stage, the panelists seem to agree. Is this idea going to survive another round and head to the finals?
I believe if my intention's the right place, which I believe it is, and if I have support from the 14 Muslims, then inshallah I'll pass this stage as well.
How are you feeling now?
So I am nervous, I'll be honest, and I feel that the time to prepare was limited. So I just hope that I'm able to kind of impress the panelists enough to get through to the next round, inshallah.
Inshallah. Feeling nervous?
No, whatever happens, happens for the best, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Sister Sabreen, welcome back.
Thank you.
How are you feeling today?
I am a bit nervous.
No need to be nervous. We all really liked your idea, and now you're here in the semi-final. Last time you were here, we gave you a few suggestions and some ideas on how to refine your product. You're going to have 2 minutes to present again to us, and then after that we'll have some question and answers. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Bismillah.
So, Since the last feedback, I did take a lot of the comments on board. So I would like to thank you for that, because it honestly kind of gave me a reassurance that my idea was heading in the right direction. I've kind of briefly put it into a few words, seeing the time. So on the marketing strategy, since we've last spoke, I've created an Instagram page to start off the exposure. I have also come up with a strategy of distribution strategy, immediate expansion plan, and potential for the future growth. So on the marketing strategy, I've written down bake sales, host female-only charitable events, chargeable events, discussion circles, talks and seminars. That would be like a start off that I'm going to try and kind of introduce the idea in a smaller groups first. And then inshallah, I plan to kind of go a bit further more by talking to different mosques. So like at the moment, I am familiar with Leicester Mosque. So I would probably go to the management and speak to them and see where I can bring the idea forward and introduce it there. And then slowly, like I want to try and get World Federation on board with this, so that I can have more of a learning around what's required as well, and where our charity can kind of work with them alongside. And in terms of immediate expansion plan, I do plan to register charity, but I am a bit short of funds, so which is why it would kind of help me kind of push forward. So that's basically my plan at the moment. I can obviously take any more questions if you may have.
So as you said last time, this is a service desperately needed. And we are so grateful to you, to everyone thought of this idea. And let's together try and develop this further.
Sister Sabreen, so fine, you're going to work with World Federation. They can tell you, sister, there's been a divorce case, X, Y, and Z. What's the next step? Tell me.
So the next step would be first, obviously, getting the client on board. So finding out where they are, where their difficulties are, connecting with them with a Shia therapist. Then that means that if we can have a client come and say they've gotten divorced, we'd have a check-in, so see how they're feeling, what's their case like, where they need help. And spiritually, because the thing is, during that time, the registering process of divorce doesn't happen straight away. It takes time. So when it comes to finding out where you're at, maybe initially they're completely fine, and then it hits them, and the grief hits them. And I think that's where it's a bit complicated, which is why I would like to work with charities that have already established, like for example, Al-Kawthar.
Well, let me ask you, in the first year, how many clients do you think you'll be able to attract?
I'm not
What's your
entirely
guess? Is it
sure.
going to be 10, is it going to be 100, or is it going to be more?
I think the honest truth is I'm not sure, because divorce is kind of processed.
Let me ask you a question another way. How many can you manage?
In the first year.
How many clients can you manage per week or per month?
I think probably about 5 cases to start with.
I think let's make it simpler. How many, so you're going to have, is it a psychologist that will work with you?
Yeah.
Okay. What's their capacity? How many days a week will they be working with you?
So currently I'm still working on the process of getting them on board. But if I get one on board, let's say, for example, and they can give 5 to 10 hours, then that's essentially equivalent to obviously giving that one person that time, depending on each individual case again.
So 5 to 10 hours per week?
No, per year. So it would have to be a number of different psychologists that I would have to have on board. Because it's, remember that they do this professionally, so it'll be very tough to kind of get them on board without...
You'll subcontract these psychologists to work on an ad hoc basis for you. Okay, fine. Yep, okay. So 5 to 10 hours, and you're going to give them 1 case per psychologist. Do you know what the cost of the psychologist is per hour?
Yeah.
What
so at the moment, as far as I know, it's between 60 to 120, depending on the type of therapy you go to.
Per hour?
Per hour.
Okay. 60 to 120 pounds an hour for a psychologist. I have employed psychologists myself. I think that's quite steep. Where'd you get that figure from?
So that's based on the psychologist that I had to find myself.
Okay. So why not employ them on a year's contract or on a 3-month trial? You could pay them significantly less, and therefore you can take on more cases because they'll be working with you for more hours per week, per month. And you'll be, it'll be more financially sustainable for you.
Yeah, so that's exactly my plan. I think knowing that this is just a sort of an idea of what I'm working with.
Yeah. What will you use the £10,000 for? Sorry, we're just running short of time, so I just need to get that information from you.
So essentially, the first thing is registering the charity. Then the second thing that I will do is get marketing materials.
How much will that cost?
Honestly, I'm gonna have some of it completely free of charge.
Okay.
So that's why, in terms of marketing and wise, I don't expect to spend more than £700 roughly.
Okay. Anything else?
And for the hosting events and stuff, I would probably look at around about 1,000 at the moment. But essentially, what my plan is to focus more on getting the word out there and presenting it at different mosques and get the donation going, and at least have one psychologist on board.
I think we'll just wrap up. A final word from you, Ali.
At the moment, I'll be honest with you, I'm a bit lost with the numbers, with what is exactly the objective, etc. So I would have liked to see sort of a much clearer presentation. But the idea is still needed, very, very needed. And if anything, I would love to help you to establish this charity.
Dr. Nazar, any last words?
No, that's it.
From myself, as Dr. Ali said, I think you just need a bit of guidance. The idea is very good and I think it's very much needed. So I'm personally going to offer you my backing, my guidance, my mentorship. I'm sure all three of us would be in the same position. So I think the idea is great. It's something that's needed. And keep in touch. We want to make this work for you and for our community, inshallah. So
Sure.
Well done.
Thank you.
Inshallah.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much for that.
Thank you.
Well, that was a very nerve-wracking round. I think you were bulldozed with very tough questions. How do you think that went?
Honestly, I think it went better than I expected it to. Although I kind of knew already that that's going to be the case. But alhamdulillah, it kind of gave me a good sort of insight of what I need to still think about. And essentially, I think one of the key things is to have the feedback that I have, and now to kind of work towards making the changes that I need to, essentially.
Ending the second pitch with support from the panelists, Sabreen is looking at a bright future ahead, inshallah.
Right, guys, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm a bit disappointed. I really had high hopes for this because it's a much needed project, unfortunately.
I think every organization provides ad hoc service. I'm sure Darul Islam, if you get a call, you will have to think of somebody within your community who can advise her and just pass it. It's very ad hoc and informal. This would be formalizing it. This would be structured once it's developed. Yeah. All she has to do then, she doesn't need to market herself. She needs to get in touch with all the Shia organization and say, whenever you have a referral or know about, just ask that person
That's
whether
why she
they would like
needs
to be
our help and guidance.
True.
So we'll see what happens.
The power couple is back, even stronger with their application proposal for Ahlul Bayt Connect. Shazia and Nail proposed a project for an application that connects all the followers of the Ahlul Bayt to make an online community that will help unite the Ummah.
I do believe we can pass this round. We have prepared as best as we can. We believe in the project, we believe in ourselves, and inshallah that comes to fruition.
If we got into the finals, I think we would be speechless, we'd be very excited to be so close to winning £10,000 for our business. But yeah, inshallah we get through, yeah.
Last round was intense. Are you guys ready for this round?
No.
Have you done any homework to prepare? I'm sure they must have given you tips, right?
Of course, yeah, they give us lots of
We
questions.
had a lot of feedback, a lot of stuff to work on, so we're excited to present them with what we've done.
We've got the answers. We've got the answers, don't worry.
Oh, very interesting. So you think you can take on the panelists head on and come out alive?
I can't lie, we're not so confident, but we're going to go in with all the things that we've done. We've done our homework, we've done the answers for the questions, and inshallah it will go well. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Sister Shazia and brother Niall, or Nail.
That's the one.
Okay, fantastic. Lovely to have you back.
Thank you.
Well done for getting through to the semi-final.
Alhamdulillah.
How are you guys today?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Good.
Alhamdulillah.
Nervous?
Yeah. Yes, of course.
We're going to give you 2 minutes to sort of represent to us, and then we'll have some Q&A if that's okay. Okay, the floor is yours.
Bismillah.
Introducing Ahlul Bayt Connect 2.0. So we've taken on your suggestions and your feedback, and we've tried to implement changes to help the business grow.
So you asked us that it's too much for us to handle, just us two. So we wanted to tell you how we are going to focus. We want to start simple with just one USP feature, which is our events calendar. Okay, the events calendar that will give you all of your events from your locale. It will have filters for type, location, and age range, and we will enable users to view only relevant events based on their preferences after making an account. And this will lead on to our other USPs of our community directory and our discussion forums. So that's our main feature. We want to prioritize that and then inshallah automate the others while we prioritize the bigger tasks.
So our marketing plan, how we spread the word. So our idea is to have online advertising through social media and other ads. So, you know, and other Shia resources such as Shia Chat or other kind of boards with our audience. Also collaborating with scholars and respected figures within the community to promote. So doing the outreach and making sure that they know that their audiences would be within our platform and just doing the outreach to get our audience across. Same kind of thing with centres, advertising for their Jamaats and their community members. And lastly, we've written creating our own media assets. So this would involve our own media campaign across social media, across the internet to promote us.
So you asked us what we will do with the 10K. We've created a bit of a breakdown of what our initial strategy will be, what we need to get our website up and running. If you look at the total here, we understand that there will be hidden costs that we don't know about yet because we haven't launched. That will always be the case. That's why we've allowed for some leeway. As you can see, that total is well within our budget, and inshallah that is just the core initial launch.
So our last slide is about the future and how it can grow. So you know, the future can hold lots of things. We've got ideas for implementation of a freemium model to capitalize on our growing user base and enhance our revenue streams. Hire a support team on a needs basis as and when we need them. For now, we feel that our label will be enough. Transitioning into a vast community database, so eventually into other countries, other continents. New features and partnerships and sponsorships. Of course, there'll always be opportunity for growth there. And finally, our primary goal towards building the mobile app.
Very good. So the bottom line is that it should be a Shia organization.
Yes.
Okay. So revenue stream, where do you see that coming from? You said that there are various sponsorships or whatever, but do you have a forecast for the next 3 years, for example?
Yes.
First year, second year, third year, what sort of revenue you're anticipating?
So we want to base it a majority on advertisement on our platform as well as partnerships.
So what about your annual cost then? You have to try and cover your annual cost going forward.
Well, as I said, the initial first year plan is
that's fine. No,
in
I'm
place.
looking at the second and third year.
So our running costs, we're not expecting to grow overly too much. Right now, obviously, our running costs are with website subscription and they obviously involve website management, but between the two of us,
I understand you focused your product and narrowed your product, but that will still need time.
It will take time, and it will take our time. We don't think that we need to hire anyone on a even part-time basis.
Right, so first and foremost, I still think this is a really good idea. So it's a novel idea. It's really nice to get a collaboration between our different communities and have make use of this global village we're in, which is great. Going back to what Dr. Nizar said, I think it's a lot of work for just the two of you. Give me some timelines. So if you two are to start working on this, when will it be up and running?
I think it would take at least 3 months to get a functional, the way we see the minimum viable product out into the market for us to then start marketing it. It will be 3 months.
Okay, so a beta version of your website,
Yes.
essentially. Okay, and then at what point will you populate that with the relevant events, get engagement from the relevant communities and all of that?
Well, that's an ongoing process.
Yeah, I feel like as soon as we kind of have influx of money and to invest in the project, we can start doing our outreach, we can start contacting. Alhamdulillah, we actually both have very good networks with lots of different communities with which we can leverage to start building website and event integration within our product.
So, Sister Shazia and Brother Nail, can you go back to the first slide, please?
Sure.
How does this work? How does it? So I live in London.
Yes.
I go to your website.
Yep.
What do I see?
You will create a profile, and then we will give you personalized filters that you can then add to your events page, which you can write. I only want to see events in London. I only want to see them of this type. Our different types are charity events, sporting events, majalis, lectures.
My opinion, you could have focused on something that will tackle individualism.
Yes.
Okay. Something that will actually bring people together.
I do see a need for this, but I think this.
I didn't say there is no need, by the way. But is this the most important thing you should focus on?
I'm going to ask you a question. Most people, majority of people, how do they find out about events?
What's
they
up?
either have loyalty to a community center, or they have loyalty to a speaker.
Yep.
That's it. So you go on the Instagram page of
What's up? I recently, sorry to interrupt you. I just recently did a survey for my own, for the center that I run. 70 odd people, 70% said the way that they know the event is through WhatsApp. WhatsApp is number one. You can try to make all the websites you can.
Yeah.
People are not going to go to the website to look at the calendar.
They use social media.
Yes,
they use Instagram, Facebook,
Mostly
WhatsApp. WhatsApp is
not
is a
even
form of social
Instagram.
media.
WhatsApp is number one.
But that's what I'm saying. How are you going to break people out of that mentality where they're loyal to one speaker or one center and get them to go somewhere else? It's going to be a very difficult task to update this events calendar. But secondly, who's going to change their mindset to do all of these things?
A vital question posed from Dr. Tijani. How will the couple answer?
I'll be honest, coming from from ourselves and especially from the youth of this generation, I don't think as a whole or as a majority our loyalty lies with necessarily speakers and centres. It's more a case of like, you don't know what's out there. I don't know to go look for this centre and this centre. I see programmes that I find interesting. It's got a good title. It's got a good it's catered for someone like me.
Fair enough.
I see an event in South London, it's a course, and I'm thinking this is for me, but I didn't know about it.
Fantastic. I'm just gonna wrap up now because I'm mindful of the time. Dr. Nizar, final words?
No, I just want to make sure that my understanding of the product is very clear. It could be through WhatsApp. You have Ahlul Bayt Connect even through WhatsApp. Clearly, you just log into that and you ask yourself the time you want, the person, the language, whatever, and it will just filter it to what your needs
Dr.
are.
Ali?
The point is, this WhatsApp idea, this is what the bubble is. This is why they're isolated in these groups. How do people find these groups? This is what we're tackling. We want everything together.
Look, the Ahlul Bayt Connect idea is very good. I wanted you to focus on something other than event. Event calendars are important,
yes,
but something much better that will bring people together. I'll tell you from now, I will never put this £10,000 for your project.
I think let's wrap up here. Firstly, I just want to say don't be disheartened by anything we've said. You guys have got a very good idea. As Dr. Ali said, that it's going to be very difficult to populate it, but I'm sure that you guys will find some sort of strategy to make it work. Inshallah, all the very best of luck. We're going to have a chat between ourselves and then inshallah we'll find out
and
whether
it's 2-1 voting, by the way, so don't watch out.
Well done, guys.
May Allah
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Jazakallah.
Brother, we provide therapy service in the back. That was brutal.
Yeah, it was brutal. Thank you. We will definitely be using that. Yeah, all the refreshments, we will be taking all of them. Thank you.
You're gonna need it. I mean, that was like a death sentence. What did you get yourselves into?
I don't know. To be honest, I'm still a bit shell-shocked. Like what? Alhamdulillah, though.
I mean, you narrowed it down. You narrowed, which is what they wanted.
That's exactly what they asked. So
But then to turn around and say, yeah, you narrowed it down to the wrong idea, that was unexpected.
It was unexpected, but I didn't hear any other suggestions. And so we've presented all our ideas. We went with what we thought was the best.
still have confidence that you have to start somewhere. At the end of the day, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day, so you start small.
It was built from an events page, I'll tell you. Yeah.
I bet so, yeah.
I think everyone needs it.
Despite receiving positive feedback from the other panelists, Dr. Helli remains unconvinced that this project idea is viable. The outlook for the couple appears to be less optimistic.
You thought their focus was wrong. What would you have focused on?
Having a calendar, which honestly people won't go to. You know, people use WhatsApp or they go Instagram or social media. But you know, going to a website every time and checking what's around, maybe some do, but majority will not do this.
What do you think?
I think they've grossly underestimated the intensity of work required and the labor cost.
So for me, this is the issue. Whenever you look at anything like this, any proposition like this, you have to look at effort and outcome. Effort in terms of time and money, commitment, and what tangible, valuable outcome will it give you? So let's see.
Let's see.
The final contestant to come is Jessica Prescott. She wants to help the reverts ease into the community and give them as much help as they need. With such a noble idea that has won the hearts of the panelists in the last round, will she be able to achieve the same this time round?
If I won this round, I would be super excited, super happy. Obviously, I'd be nervous for the finals because I'm sure it's going to be quite intense, but inshallah, I will win this round, inshallah.
Are you ready to face the panelists once again?
I'm a little bit nervous, I'm not going to lie. Last week was super difficult, some of the questions. I mean, I only had a week to prepare, so like, for example, they asked me about how many Shia converts are in the community. I mean, it's really hard for me to answer that, and like, I've done a lot of research. It's kind of impossible to find out because like some parents don't even know that their child's converted, you know.
Assalamu alaikum, Sister Jessica.
Wa alaikum salam.
Thank you very much for coming along again. Nice to see you again. Please start.
So thank you so much for having me back. I've had a lot to think about, obviously, from the questions and the feedback I had from you guys last week. Thank you so much for having me back. So basically, I'm just going to talk about how I'm going to implement Al-Haq converts. How's it going to work, basically? So, I mean, the first things first, and I think we touched on this last week, is it's really important that I'm talking to mosques in our local community. I'm starting with London, and then eventually, inshallah, the rest of the UK, hopefully global. I mean, I have friends in Australia who are converts as well, so inshallah. So, I mean, my first steps would be about making the community aware through presentations in Ramadan. That's what I would love to do. Just going into mosques in Ramadan because it's going to be very busy, and facilitating a 5-minute presentation just about Al-Haq converts and how the community can support me. Also, I'm hoping to gain a few volunteers and people just interested, and make more people aware of my idea by going into mosques and talking about it a lot more. Also, I mean, one thing that I would love to do once people are more aware is start giving out welcome packs to mosques with turbas, tasbih, also prayer mats for new reverts, and a Quran with transliteration because they're not easy to come by. Then, I mean, later on it would be helpline for converts that we discussed last week, the mentorship program we discussed, courses, fully funded Ziara trips, and eventually a space for converts. So I just want to talk quickly about how I'm going to spread the word. It would be, I'd actively be searching for these converts on social media. So I think that's really important. Not everyone is going to the mosques. Not everyone is out there. I think last week you touched upon the fact that how many converts are there, and that's impossible to find out because most converts, their families don't even know they're converted. It's like a lot of converts, they're scared to actually go out into the community. So it's super difficult to find that information. So that's something I do need to work on, and I need people to help me work on that. Also, I mean, I want to hold stalls at major events and spread awareness. I want to also advertise via Facebook. I think I did touch upon that last week. And also, once the community are aware, I want to hold fundraising events for the charity and partner with scholars in the community, so they are aware when a convert's coming in that they can come to Al-Haq Converts.
Okay, so say you won. How would you use the first £1,000? What would be your immediate costs?
So the first £1,000 would be for those welcome packs.
Okay,
So,
but you don't know how many to print.
well, this is going to be
So
trial
let me
and error.
come in
really
here.
is.
Let me
Yes,
come in here.
okay.
With any charity, you need to identify a need, and part of that need comes through a quantifiable number. For example, if you have a charity that caters for orphans, for example, just keep throwing one thing out there, you need to know roughly how many orphans you're going to cater for. At the moment, have you approached any centers to say how many converts do you have regularly attending your centers? Have you approached any other Islamic centers? What sort of research have you done so far in order to get this number?
No, I mean, I'm actively on Facebook, messaging converts, and I have another sister who's helping me, but I haven't actively gone to mosque. But it's very in the beginning stage.
Right. I think that's really important. For me personally, I think in order to make this a viable project, you need to have a number, and without that number, it kind of becomes the chicken and egg situation. You need to know what comes first. Do you put the charity first or the number first? Because if you don't know who your target audience is, then how can you set up a charity to cater for them?
The cause is very noble. I think we mentioned that last time, and I did extend my invitation to you, and I think Dr. Nazar did the same for you to come and visit us in our centers. And I'm pretty sure that the people who are watching the centers, the leaders of the centers are watching, will probably do the same. So most definitely you do need to have that connection with the centers. So what is it that the converts or reverts want? What is it they want? They want an organization, or there's an integration, or both?
So to be honest, I can't speak for every revert. We're all individuals. We all have different needs and wants. Some reverts, they might want to go out into the community and they might want nothing to do with other converts. They completely want to integrate. But converts I've come across, they want a supportive network. They want what I've been talking about.
Sorry, I'm just going to ask a question here. Sorry. So wouldn't it be better, rather than having this huge startup cost, spending lots of money creating a charity and then infrastructure for a charity, wouldn't it be better if at no cost you went to all of these individual centers and said, look, here's my number, here's my email address. If you have any people who are struggling to integrate, any converts or reverts who are struggling to integrate, tell them to get in touch with me, and we will produce a social network where we can support each other remotely, and that way we can cater for the needs without the need for all of this startup. And that way, number one, you'll get an idea of the number of people you're dealing with. Number two, you'll get network with the individual centers. Number three, you won't have the whole overhead startup cost for the charity.
So I think Sister Jessica, I had this thought last time, and I still stick to this thought. I really think a confidential hotline will be something that you just need to focus on this. Going and doing ziyara trips or converts, and all these things, they are very good, but that's not what you need to focus on. And I think this hotline, don't make it like a specific Shia or whatever. Just it needs a lot of thought. I'll be honest, I haven't thought about it much, but it needs a lot of thought. But marketing this hotline through maybe our centers, through networking, through people who know, etc., then slowly you'll start get people. And just to conclude, again, I extend my help and support for you.
It's a little bit of catch-22 situation, isn't it? We don't know what the market is. We don't know what the demand is. We don't know what the numbers are. But we know that to reach there, we need certain vehicles, like a hotline, or like a website, or like somebody phoning up or visiting the centers. So whichever way we look at it, there is some initial costs involved, which I appreciate and I accept with you fully. But I think the model as a whole needs a little bit of flesh added to it. And I think that's probably best achieved by getting some advisors around you, either from local centers or Muhammad Trust trustees or whatever, how they've been doing or whatever, and then try and develop it.
Thank you. I mean, the general vibe from other contestants and stuff like that is we're not business people, you know, we're not used to presenting in front of a panel, we're not used to coming up with business plans. So, you know, we need mentorship, we need support if we're going to win, inshallah, the show.
All three of us will be there, don't worry. We've gone over the time, but I'll give you last 30 seconds.
Oh no, I just wanted to say the same thing that Dr. Ali and yourself are saying, that you've got the three of us here to help and support you through.
Thank you.
The cause is very noble, the idea is very good, but you need guidance and mentorship, which is exactly what you've said. So
thank you so much for coming along.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sister Jessica, that was a very fierce round. A lot of interesting questions that you had to answer for. How do you think you did?
I have no idea, to be honest. I tried my very best, so inshallah the result will be a good one.
I think one way to look at it is the questions can be maybe tips for the future. Is that how you're thinking of benefiting from this?
Yeah, I mean, even if I don't win the show, it's like I want to raise awareness in the community that this is something that we need and something I want to do, and, you know, gain support for that. Even if, as I think I said last time, even if I can help one convert, I'll be super happy, you know.
The panelists provided incredible feedback, particularly highlighting Jessica's profoundly noble idea. Yet considering its current stage, does it stand a chance to receive the recognition and support it deserves?
How was this whole episode, the second semi-final?
Yeah.
So, surprises, one there. People that we were hoping would be scoring high, we found that they hadn't prepared themselves well, and they hadn't moved from last week. And some of the unexpected ones scored higher.
Did well.
So this shows that it's so important not to be judgmental and just wait for the bits.
I think if we look at the bright side of the last two semi-finals, we've had 10 contestants, some very, very talented individuals within our community, which we should be really proud of.
Absolutely.
We should
and
be.
Even the ones that won't make it through, they've got something there that they can work on, inshallah.
Let's see.
As the semi-finals near their conclusion, contestants prepare to face the panel once more. The ultimate victor, sure to advance to the next round, awaits just 3 panelist decisions. Hearts quicken with anticipation as we eagerly await the judgments of the panel.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thank you very much for coming back. You are all so close to each other. I wish Safi TV would make a decision just now that they have 10,000 times 5 available rather than just 1. Really, such a difficult decision. So I think, please don't be despondent if you're not the winner. Each one of you have got such a brilliant idea, such a brilliant idea. Some of us have actually indicated that we might even invest. But these are such brilliant ideas that please don't be despondent, develop it, go for it. We will support you outside, if you're not a winner, to raise the funding that if you require as well. So we'll go in chronological order, starting from my right. Sabreen, we'll start with you. Such a huge demand. So much needed. And thank you so much for thinking of that idea, Sabreen. However, Sabreen, the model needs to be refined. You need to understand what you do actually want to do. You even made a point that I'll try and get free marketing. There's nothing like free marketing. Free marketing is zero value. So link up with organization, work on the model, work on the financial aspect of it as well. Zainab, you are so impressive, you are so articulate in presenting your ideas, clear thoughts. You know exactly what you want to do. And it's a financially sustainable model as well. However, we're not sure about your price points, whether it will work. Both the buying sources, the buying cost and the selling cost needs to be revisited. And we're not sure whether on the Zoom or Teams would it work as well as face-to-face. We come to Sister Jessica. Gosh, we always had the feeling that this much must be a needed service, and you impressed us. You have actually demonstrated to us that there's a need for this. This service is desperately needed. I'm 100% sure about that. And we would love to support you all the way through to develop this idea further. But the model needs to be developed further. Yeah, it's at its infancy. Great idea, brilliant idea, but it's at its infancy. It needs to be developed a bit more. You need some advisors around you and take it up further. But don't give up hope. It will inshallah happen, and we will support you. Shazia and Naila. So we told you last week, get yourself more focused. You came back knowing exactly what you want to do. You want to create an events calendar. But maybe that focus choice is probably wrong. However, you have grossly underestimated the labor intensiveness that this task would demand. Don't underestimate the huge amount of work. If you want to do it the way you are aspiring to do, it needs a lot of work, a lot of man hours and woman hours, and you cannot do it yourselves. Said Mahdi, yes, I wish I could go back and become a 5-year-old today. I would love to be sitting there with you and listening to those lovely stories. You are an intelligent man, Cambridge graduate. You've got huge skills. Your product is just fantastic. However, and you know, when you were describing your costings, etc., there was almost a feeling that, guys, I don't want to disappoint you. I will make sure the product is cheap enough. But that's not the way to go forward. You have to spend money. You have to spend money to get the professions. If you can enhance your product even further by not relying on AI, but by getting voiceovers, professional voiceovers, I think it will lift the product even higher. Right. Decision making. I've been thinking, how am I going to do it? And once I've done it, should I run out of the room quickly? So I'll have to disappoint 4 of you out of 5. That's tough, very tough. I'll probably have difficulty sleeping tonight. But in unanimity, we'll come to a decision. In unanimity. So, Sabreen, I'm afraid you'll be going home and not coming back. Shazia and Nail, sorry to disappoint you too. We really wish you the best with your wedding. Don't forget to invite me.
And the two of us as well.
And us.
Jessica, I'm in Harrow too. Be in touch. And Dr. Ali has also offered the full support. So, said Mahdi step forward, Zainab step forward. Difficult, isn't it?
That's the life, right?
That's life, yeah.
I'm ready to go home.
Well, in that case, we'll ask you to come here. So congratulations, Sabreen. Salawat.
Thank you so much. Appreciate all the feedback and it's a difficult time to be a judge and go through all of that. So yeah, I appreciate all the effort and thanks for choosing the idea of Reading Details. Appreciate it.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you so much.
Have a safe journey home.
Yeah, I mean, it was intense.
I've never given up on anything in life.
Looking back, maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's our lack of experience. Obviously, they have more experience than us. They can tell us those things, and we'll respect that, and we'll take that moving forward.
There are pretty good ideas that can be cooked into real products that the community can benefit from.
I am really, really grateful for the channel to give me this opportunity to put the idea out there. I think that's the most invaluable experience that I've had.
But I actually feel great. I think that whoever's made it through, they do have amazing ideas, and it would only do justice to our community. And I think that, tomorrow when I have kids, if any of these ideas work or if there's any problem in the community, I think it's only bettering the community.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
This whole experience, we want to just thank everyone, especially behind the scenes, everyone, all the judges, everyone who made this happen.
TV have been incredible.
Is it Illumini stories or?
And I wish success for all who participated.
Illumini Tales. I think Illumini Tales, I really want my children to start reading those because they sound really good. So I'm already looking into that.
In terms of the last word, any last words? Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Can I just say something? I feel like if it's okay to express my opinion at this particular point, there's one idea that I think really deserves to go to the final as maybe a wild card.
This is completely unscripted, by the way, so I'm just a little bit interested to hear what he has to say.